Unmute myself. Sorry, it's been a meeting kind of day.
Well, I think we got the everybody on here that we need. So, can you go ahead, Jill? I guess if you want to make any comments and go over the list of things we've accomplished, or turn that over to John.
Yeah, we might tag team it. Just first, just because I know some people may not have been able to make the call. I did hit record, so if anybody has an issue with it, let me know. That way, we don't all have to be note takers, so it will be available if anybody needs it. I think the first thing that I would say is we did, me and John and Nate visited the dam, about a couple of weeks ago, just to check the status. And we've also had our one of our staff members checking it a little bit routinely, just to make sure nobody's blocked up. It was status quo. We certainly didn't see any urgent issues that required immediate action. In addition, I started digging into some of the file from when we permitted the site back in 2007, and there was some question about what I'm going to call a weir, which is a control structure that was supposed to be put in as a component of that plan. And was it installed? It was kind of hard to see the day we were out there. Couple factors: just vegetation had grown up in that channel, and secondly, it had rained, I think, if John, a couple of days before or the night before, and so there certainly was probably more water in that system than there normally is. So we've requested that the owner and their engineer evaluate, if essentially provide an as-built, or confirm that it is operating per they put it in. And it looks like it may need some maintenance too. There may be some sediment that's accumulated against it over time. So
and I think
we
just
are
to clarify,
working with them, and they've
Jill, that's just to clarify, that's on the stormwater side of things.
That's on the stormwater side.
Permitting and regulatorily speaking, stormwater.
So we're working with them on that. We have requested that they meet us at the dam. I'm gonna get out there, get on the dam. Let's talk about it. Let's not feel and touch things. Let's see and walk around. So we're trying to set up a meeting with them out there just to talk about that, what they need to do, look at it, and certainly that's a great time to have a conversation about the condition of the dam and timing. Where are they with lining up their contractors for the repairs from a dam safety permit perspective, and a couple other things we want to chat with them about.
Great.
John, is there anything else that you had, or that kind
of? Well, I did provide, Ashley, the emergency action plan that was requested via email, and so, but I will acknowledge that we want them to continue to work on it, that it can be improved. So that's another thing we're going to ask them for. And I don't know if Jill, I mean, we did send them a letter recently, and we've had a response back from the engineer. So we are still pushing for that meeting on the dam, though. But that's really all I have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you let me know, because I know, and forgive me, I'm at the beach, so I didn't spend a lot of my vacation time, and my big folder is at home, and I apologize for asking this when I should have done my homework in preparation for this meeting. I know I asked Mr. McLeod, as I believe it was Mr. McLeod, and it's either John or you or Mr. McLeod, for a copy of that document at least a year ago, and it was never provided. And I failed to look and see what the date that it was signed. Can you tell us, just kind of from your informed perspective, what kind of issues, and you called it discrepancies, that you saw that you wanted them to improve on, just so I can make sure we're clear on our end?
The main thing is, so the two homes that are downstream, they identified that those homes are potentially would be impacted, or would see some flooding. but there were no phone numbers to contact those two homeowners. So that's the main thing. We want to see them add, that the EAP needs that.
Okay.
So that, but aside from that, it's pretty much on our standard template, standard format.
I believe I can facilitate that if they're not able to get that. I'm sure. I talk to Randy Bundrick every day, and the
Okay.
Carlsons. Yeah,
Yeah.
Their point person is their son Ford, who lives, right there off of Barnyard Flea Market between West Columbia and Lexington. He lives right there. So
Well, that would be excellent. That would help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be glad to facilitate that. So, Justin, do you want to comment on the weir and the fact that it is there and how long it's been since we've been able to see it?
Sure. From what I can tell, the weir is installed and correctly, but I think that what's got everything backed up is I think the pond's about 18 inches or so higher than this intended elevation because of the check dam or riprap that was put in front. And I think that was during construction, just like a temporary check dam, but it remained throughout, and then it got clogged up with debris, which backed up, and that became full pool, or what everybody thought was full pool. But I would be curious to see, if y'all get out there and look around, the weir structure is there. It's nothing more than like a head wall with a notch poured in it.
But that's what it was supposed to be.
That's right. And I remember, golly, it's been like Vicki was saying, it's been 3 or 4 years ago, probably, since I actually saw it. But again, I feel like that weir elevation is driving everything. If it was where it was supposed to be, you'd pick up a lot of freeboard and in turn help to relieve the dam and some of the stormwater issues in the pipes, that feed into the pond.
And that kind of was what Lynn Ridnour, or not Ridnour, sorry, I'm messing up my engineers. Lynn Robertson thought was that there may be some sediment that had accumulated there, and if there's an old check dam, that very well would we're going, and I told him, go ahead and think about how they're gonna getting a plan to address that.
Great. Yeah, that's the kind of the piece I would be curious in, really.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll get that. I'm sorry. I'm leaning over. I'm having a hard time hearing. I'm trying to crank up the volume a little bit.
And the other thing, John, the house, Mr. Jenkins. So the two houses that you just commented on, Randy Bondrick and the Carlsons. So Randy Bondrick is immediately below where that water was coming through the dam. And if you're looking at his house to the left is the Carlsons, and that's the one that had been questioned whether it was crawl space or on, built on slab.
Right.
And then to the left of that is Mr. Jenkins, Greg Jenkins, who met us out there. Several of you may remember, he's the neighbor, one of the 3 pond managers for the Lemon Pond. And he had requested, and I had forwarded that directly, I think, John, to you. And again, I'm sorry, I don't have the dates in my folder in front of me. To see if y'all could talk with Mr. Roberson about putting back a spillway instead of that weir, because he felt like when the spillway was functional before the weir was put in and before Parish Plantation was ever built, it was better able to manage the periodic differences in the water table. And as y'all know from our conversation last time, somebody filled up that old spillway with concrete. So it's there, but certainly not functional, and it was leaking on the downstream side on this side of the dam in the last year. So that would be his request.
Well, and I will say the current permit we that's in effect does not call for repairs to that spillway, that's riser spillway. It's purely for removing the trees and restoring the embankment of the dam, and letting that existing weir spillway serve as the primary spillway. Now, should that permit expire, like we've said in the past, in August, at that point they would have to reapply for a new permit, and and we can try to encourage them or do everything we can to because you're right, and Mr. Jenkins is right, having a spillway like that that's functional adds a lot more control and more options on how you operate the dam and the water level. But right now, we don't have any power to require that. The permit is issued, and the permit has, it has a certain, scope of work, and that is not in the permitted scope of work.
I think we can highlight that. It would take modification of the stormwater plans and the permit, because when they're designing the subdivision, they have to prove to us that the flow leaving that site, that post-development discharge rates match pre-development for a 2-year, 24-hour, and a 10-year. So if they change the configuration and the functionality of those, they've got to show how they're consistent with that, or are the adjacent dam owners downstream, are they willing to handle more flow? And we would maybe want something in writing. And I don't think when we got that application, they didn't account for any flow out of that riser. So back in 2007, it wasn't working. I'm taking a peek at it right now, but I don't think all of the flow they were allotting for was through that revised channel and weir section. So, but we'll note that, but certainly right now it's kind of a catch-22, is that if they've got the weir in place like they're supposed to, they're in compliance with the State Stormwater Act. So they would need to show why they need to change it in order to maybe address the other neighbors' issues.
And then thank you for that. And then another question I had was, when y'all were there the other day, did y'all see any beaver activity, recent or current? Because again, I am very certain nobody in that community is monitoring beaver activity. Nobody is doing it. They've told us. I
didn't see anything that I thought was beaver. I mean, it's hard to say. There were little things blocking. I mean, John, it's hard to say whether it was really happening in there or not.
I wouldn't say anything screamed beaver or shout, but the the area in front of the weir that there's definitely like some sticks and mud that's kind of all kind of compacted together there, so that could be from beavers. I can't say for sure.
Okay, and then if y'all would just, when you have the conversations, and it sounds like there's some pretty good conversation going on right now with Mr. Roberson. If you would just remind him that whenever we had the meeting at the dam, that we asked, please, whenever they were going to be clearing beavers, to let the downstream pond managers know.
Okay.
Even through Ashley, if they could just give us a heads up and let them remove the board. When all that water comes at one time through that little channel, it's a lot of water. And so they have not been doing that, and it's left some resentment on our pond managers, and they're always happy. And again, these are people that manage that, reservoir before the community was built. So
okay,
we will. And water was flowing through there. I'm pretty sure that was the night we'd had an inch or more of rain that evening before we went. So
we've only had 0.84 at the airport over those 2 days, because I watched rain levels really carefully. So we've only had 0.84 in the last 3 weeks.
And I think that was right before we went. I'll check my COPROS.
Yeah, but to Justin's point, it's already high. And when you get that extra rain, that's when we get more nervous downstream, because that's when the pressure builds and the water runs outside of that end around. And
May.
Any other questions or?
Michael, did you have anything?
No, I didn't have anything. Did you say you sent a letter to Ashley? We talked about if you could get something to us saying that, the letter we have saying this is a category 1 high risk, something just explaining that is just because of the potential of that dam, not because of the current condition of the dam.
Okay.
I'd still appreciate that.
Thank you. I've forgotten about that. I'm sure it's in my folder at home.
Other than that, I would just reiterate that Wes and Wade have not responded, is what I'm hearing, and they haven't met you. So.
Well, we did just, so it's been a little crazy. Actually they responded very quickly after I sent the letter yesterday, and I had a response from Lynn within an hour and a half. So that's
From the engineer.
Yes, engineer, not Wes Taylor.
No.
Just to clarify, yeah.
Wes is getting spud next.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
Sounds
you also
good. Appreciate all you're doing, and really appreciate the communication. Just so we know,
Yeah,
it's really, really well appreciated what you're doing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then the other thing that I remember as Michael was talking was you were going to check in with Parish Plantation HOA and just remind them that dam is being regulated and they really don't need to be putting boards across there and moving the riprap and trying to make the water level higher.
That would be I don't know that we have a contact with them. Do you have one?
I would say Derek Elderly.
Yeah, I've spoken with Derek.
Okay.
So if that's, I guess I missed that from last meeting, but I can check in with Derek. I've talked to him.
Yeah, my contact that we sent through the pond management course sadly just sold her house in that community and moved to Florida to be close to her daughter. So sadly, that was a big loss for our town on a lot of levels. But she was our primary contact. But Derek would be good.
So I appreciate y'all thinking about some of those elements with the letter. We'll make sure we get that done and the contact with the HOA. And I think Vicki, I'm going to be watching to see how responsive they are as well. We do want to meet with them out at the site, but we don't want to wait forever to get that commitment. So we'll continue to put the pressure hard and heavy to get that done. And then we'll swing back and circle back with this group.
Okay. That's great. So we'll either hear from you or watch the calendar and see the pages turn to August. And John, is it August 1st or August 31st?
The permit expires, I believe it's let me I think it's the 20th, honestly, but let me double check. It's a date during the month, so let me double check. August 20th.
Okay, that was good memory on your part.
Yeah, this dam, uses up a little more memory than others. It's fresher on my mind.
So 3 months from today.
Exactly.
We'll be patient a little longer. And like Mike said, we thank you
very
so
much
much for stepping in. Yeah, I know it helps me when my neighbors ask me questions to let them know that you guys are very involved and, we're all on the same team and that we're all going to resolve this issue together.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank y'all for being part of it and working with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
all.
All right, thank y'all. And anybody else, any closing remarks before we break up for now?
I hear the beach calling.
I know.
Oh, I'm jealous.
You
I'm jealous.
should.
I'm jealous. Of course, I was in Surfside Beach on through Sunday, so I can't say anything.
Okay, well, I've got my 88-year-old mama and her 89-year-old best friend. So
Woo!
be prayerful
That's some
for
fun
me.
times.
But it's been, different fun, but great time. Elderly people.
I was on the
Oh,
other end of
thank
the
you.
spectrum. I was helping chase my 2 and 1-year-old nephews.
Oh, wow. Thank y'all. Have a good summer till we hear from you again.
Bye, y'all too.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Bye.
All right, bye.